Hey guys, welcome back. So an update on the Pikals. They're finished. I finished 4 or 5. So here they are, and I managed to do it as well so that the sheath is no longer scratching the bevels. So got a little oil there. So this one here in particular is number 11. They're on my website, and I'm going to put them on Etsy as well, but from now on I'm going to put the Etsy prices higher than my website, because it's a lot better for me if people are buying from my website than from Etsy. It's just Etsy takes a lot of the money, you know. Yeah, so here's number 11. And so we've got sort of a pinch grip here. It's very lightweight because of those holes. And remember that all of this is forged originally from a half coil of spring steel. So, and here's the sheath. These are very delicate knives. You have to treat them like they're fragile. So this one has a sheath, but it's in the other room. I was just looking at it. This one was number 10. It's also forged from this, but there's not as much material left on this one. It's also a little bit thicker. I'm a huge fan of Pikals. I think they're like a must-have for an EDC. It's something that most people are just unfamiliar with, but once you start carrying these, you really do start to appreciate them more and more. Because I think for like most of your general EDC tasks, the Pikal is actually better than your regular designs for most EDC tasks. But then there's a few things that you really can't do with it. But let's see if I can move these a little closer to the camera. So this is number 007. One thing I've done with these is, you see, I sharpened a bevel here. Right, because when you're sharpening these on a stone, it's nice to have a chamfered corner, at least one, that you can sharpen like this, and then you touch it off like that, because you're going to be sharpening sort of multiple different surfaces. So it's actually, if you look carefully, it's there, right? So it's sort of triagonal. It's nice to know that the sheaths don't actually scratch the bevels. So here's number 9. All hand forged. These are hand forged products. I like the handle on this one a lot. So that was 009. I don't really have a way to carry these other than like a neck knife, or if you get some kind of belt loop. I tried using these clips, these ulti clips, right, that we have on these, on the Pikals, but it doesn't work because of the shape of the Pikal. It's not conducive for this design. But as a neck knife, I've noticed that they work really the best as neck knives. So then we have here 08. 08 is pretty wicked. So 08 is really one of the cleaner ones here. A little bit of gunk there on the blade. So, and again, a Pikal is really like an EDC knife. I don't think it's intended to ever be a fighting knife. And it's a complementary knife to your regular design. So if you're carrying like a you know, something like this. The two go together very, very well. So the two go together very, very well. Having both of these on you is a really good like combination for all around everything EDC. Essentially what it is a clip point and a regular blade. I mean, if you could combine these two into one knife, if you have like a Bowie knife, right? If you have some kind of Bowie knife style system. So if you just put a clip point on the end of this, you essentially have the best of, you have two worlds put together. I don't know if it's necessarily the best of both worlds, but you get you have both utilities. You could also, if you wanted to, sharpen the entire spine, and then you have both a regular blade and the same like long, I guess full length clip point. But the problem with that is you get this very, very light blade, not very much steel on there, a very heavy handle, relatively speaking, and it just feels very fragile, the blade. It doesn't feel all that strong. So for example, with this one, you know, I'm batoning these. It's better not to have a clip point, a sharp clip point. If you're batoning, it's easier to just have your Pikal set aside, and you know, make it as light as possible. I don't personally feel like it needs like a handle, a string handle. And then the problem that I have as well is like it's difficult for me to convince myself to put the hockey tape, the layer of nano paracord, and the paracord on top of all these holes. Because what happens if you were to drop this in some water, or it gets wet and all that moisture gets trapped in these holes underneath all those layers, you can't really dry it out. So it's either going to be like heavy. I mean, unless I can fill these up with some kind of material that's like super lightweight, maybe some epoxy or something. I guess I could do that. Maybe like a piece of wood, a little plug, a wood plug. So I would remove all the metal and then fill it in with something else, and then put the rest of then continue with the handle. That's also a possibility. So, but yeah, there it is. Isn't that sick? It's got a little bit of, so very thin. I noticed with Pikals you kind of want them to be thin. So, and just feels right. I don't want to put them in too hard right now. They're very fresh. When they're fresh, they're a little bit stiffer to put in, but they get easier over time to use. So here's the last Pikal, and this one was a custom order. Someone wanted the same handle that I did on these Rivet lock Puukkos mediums, and it's pretty nasty. It looks good, doesn't it? So I'm quite happy with this one. It was very difficult to grind, actually, on the wheel. So that's why you see that the grind lines are not like 100% awesome. But it still looks really cool, and it still functions really, really nice. So just a little bit of messy grinding, but there wasn't really anything you could do with the tools that I have and the machines that I have to create like a super clean like grind lines all the way along the bevels. But at least this line is clean. You know, this line is clean. Feels good in the hand. It's got good weight. It's pretty beefy. It's the thing with Pikals, the difficulty is their curvature and how do you grind that. So when they're got a very slight curvature like this, they're actually pretty easy to grind on a contact wheel. I have sort of a set limit curvature to the Pikals because of my grinding equipment. I can make them like this, but they're just, it's much more difficult to pull off. So, but yeah, it's pretty neat. I'm gonna compare the two here. I might make more like this, but maybe without that intense curvature, just so that it looks cleaner. Curvature is nice though. Unless you do like a convex stock Scandi grind, that's one way to do it. Then there's, of course, the Rivet Lock Puukkos medium. So this is my own one, my personal one, which is number 036. This, you see, once you've used it a lot and you start to kind of wear out all that surface on the front, it actually starts to look kind of better in many ways. It looks like, kind of, it has a certain charm to it, you see. So even though we wanted them to be clean, here there's one of them where the sheath actually came out super well, where it doesn't scratch the blade at all, and that one's at full price on the website. So as you can see, very nice. It came out very good, this one. It came out super well. Number 38. So this one came out super well. And I gave it a longer, I guess you could say, drop point as well. So they're all going to always be slightly different, but this feels like a really good tool. And then they've got these pocket clips, so you can have in your pockets. You got to be careful which pants you put them in, because if you got some fragile material, these clips will actually kind of tear their way through. Also here on this one, in the previous video I said I was going to do a new sheath, but I don't think I am. I think I just modified this clip to fit on this particular sheath, and I just put the price down on this. It doesn't really scratch all that much. There's just like one spot, but again, like you saw with this one, after you use it every day and muck around, make fires, baton and all that, and I like to throw, I've been throwing it a little bit, not like with a lot of force, but just, you know, doing a little bit of throwing and stuff like that. And the sheath on this particular one was like completely tied on, but you see it looks pretty nice. It's not it kind of has a charm to it when it's used. But anyway, so these first ones, now that I have a solution for doing these sheaths so that they don't scratch the bevels, I'm just going to make more knives, and then just, you know, with sheaths that don't scratch the bevels, and then just keep these early ones, you know, at a more affordable price. So these are also on my website. Pretty sick, I think. Just overall really pleased with this concept and this design. I think it came out really well. And here's number 37. So I'm just you know, showcasing here all the blades. Same with this sheath. There's only one spot where it kind of has a little bit of a scratch there, so it's not that big a deal though. And with the 37, the pommel, I sort of overground it, right? You can see the difference in thickness, and you don't really notice it. Doesn't really bother you at all, but once you hold them all in your hands, it's so different that, like, I'm not going to go with that. I'm going to stick with these fatter pommels. So number 37, this one, and number 035, this one, they're on discount. So the full price for like the perfected model is 190 euros plus shipping, and then these couple first ones, they're going to be 100. They're 120, so that's pretty cheap for a nice blade like this. But it's just important that you know, people get them. Since, you know, since they're not like 100% perfect, I'm not going to charge the whole price for them. And so, yeah, I think that's all we got for today, guys. And they're all, you know, forged from this. So all this stuff here. I'll be making more. And somebody was asking for some Rivet lock Puukkos smalls. I'll probably start doing that next year some more. And then the long ones, I have 3 or 4 that are in production. They take a little bit longer to do because they are bigger. And then there's 10 or 15 more blanks for these Rivet lock Puukkos mediums coming up because people seem to like these. So yeah, I think you know, that's all we have for today. And if you want to support my work, of course, you can always go and get yourself a Rivet lock Pikals, a Rivet lock Puukkos, or, you know, good old scalpel. These have been selling like crazy. We're selling a whole bunch of these every week, so very happy about that. Mostly America, so yeah, thank you, Americans. It's kind of interesting, especially when it comes to knives. Nearly all my customers are Americans or Germans, and very few are locals in Finland. It's quite an interesting demographic, the way things work. But yeah, thanks again, guys, and I hope you have a good day. And I'm preparing all my equipment to make like a how to make one of these videos, right? So just a video of me making these, and nothing like super special. I'm gonna try to avoid the fancy pantsy, you know, shot by shot close up with all this like no one talking. I think what I'm just gonna do is talk my way through the whole thing, explain how every process works, and just because I just, there's something weird about the way certain videos are made, and I like to, I don't care if it's super long, if it's actually super informative, I like it. If I can sit down for 2-3 hours and absorb thousands of, you know, data points, that's what I prefer. I don't want to sit there and watch some prancy, fancy, like, wannabe, like, artsy, you know, just sit there and it's like this random music and these random shots and nothing is clear. Because, you know, for people who are really skilled, they learn from like seeing shit you're doing and being able to say, hey, that's actually really smart. And like it's simple as like how you swing your hammer. You know, you might not notice that in some kind of in some type of video styles, and then in some other video styles where there's some like really like expert kind of guys, you watch it and it's like, yeah, okay, that's what I need. That's what I want. You can also see with my watch here that this yellowing is really ugly. I got this G-Shock a while back. It's a workshop knife and it was clear, completely clear. And look at how brown and nasty it is now. It's very ugly. I don't recommend the clear one, the see-through G-Shock at all. And it wasn't cheap either. I'm shocked they would even bother. Well, it was kind of cheap, but yeah, I should have gotten like a black one. Anyway, see y'all later.